You ready, big girl? Yeah, I'm ready. So I thought it'd be really good to do a little video about Toe Jam and Earl. The version that I am on about today is Toe Jam and Earl III Mission to Earth, which was released on the Xbox in 2002. Before that, there were two incarnations of the game, Toe Jam and Earl, the original, which was released by Sega in 1991, and Toe Jam and Earl Panic in Funkatron, which was Sega 1993. All the games paid pretty good tribute to the funk genre. The game actually got mixed reviews and poor sales at the time, being called weird, strange and odd, all of which I would take as a massive compliment. Basically not a great reception. I loved it for those things. The graphics were great, so that was a really nice bonus. Toe Jam's got this kind of like big medallion around his neck with TJ written on it. The name is Toe Jam or DJ TJ. You know, a bit like Flavor Flav or all that kind of swagger of the early noughties era. So the main characters are Toe Jam, who's a three-legged alien running around with his massive friend Earl, and in the Mission to Earth version at least, a sassy female alien called Letitia, who is fine. They are from outer space. And the idea is that Toe Jam and Earl are journeying to Earth to retrieve the 12 sacred albums of funk and return them to Lamont, who's kind of like this alien guy in outer space. But he stays there while Toe Jam and Earl and Letitia journey to Earth to get the 12 albums. Hi, Lamont here. Listen up. I got big news. My vinyl collection has been stolen. That's right, you heard me. The 12 sacred albums of funk are no longer in Funkatron. Your job is to go to Earth and get my vinyl collection back. Sorry. Along the way, they meet these Earthlings who are really funny and kind of demonic, and they do different missions and get presents which give them kind of special powers and stuff. The arch enemy is the anti-funk or the anti-funk, and if Toe Jam and Earl defeat the anti-funk, they will save the world from everything that is unfunky. But the anti-funk is kind of supposed to be like the dark side in Star Wars.
Reach deep inside your soul, stay strong for the power.
The whole game style is supposed to be like a celebration of hip hop and urban culture at the time. I like to say 90s urban culture, given the release of the originals in the early 90s. And they had that whole kind of basketball thing, that basketball style going on, and the 90s slang. So yeah, I'd say that was about correct. When the Xbox came out, it was like, whoa, games were great. The graphics were great. There's just something about the Xbox. I used to work for an indie gaming publisher, and they released an awesome game called Human Fall Flat. It was actually one of the perks of working in a gaming company that you get a friends and family code. So you just have to put it into Steam and they'd give you all the games. So I downloaded this epic game, Human Fall Flat, and the chief publisher at the time, whose name I can't disclose right now, said, you know, what console are you playing it on? And I said the Xbox One, and he said that's exactly what you should be playing it on. And he was referring to the frame rate basically and just the general power of Microsoft. So play Human Fall Flat, it's incredible, just a great game. And yeah, if you can, play it on the Xbox. Anyway, back to Toe Jam and Earl. So when it came out on the Xbox, obviously my brother and I got it. All the levels represented Earth's kind of ecosystems, which was kind of a nice concept. And the characters jump around to each platform. We had these amazing Earthling enemies like the psycho cheerleaders. But the best thing about the game was these kind of comedy sound bites that would like pop up throughout the game.
Hey baby, let me take a look at them pom-poms.
And right here at the beginning, you get the beast that is the soundtrack of Toe Jam and Earl rear its head. One thing I love about the game is that it completely revolves around music. You're going to Earth to get these 12 sacred albums of funk. Obviously in the originals, the kind of funky soundtrack is iconic, but then that carries through obviously into the sequels that followed. You actually play songs to kill some enemies. Funk is actually a music genre that originated in African American communities in the 60s. The word funk obviously denotes the genre, but also it means, well, what it means, as in kind of strong odour. The word actually derives from Latin fumigare, which means to smoke, and then it found its way into English via Old French, coming to mean something like musty. Slowly the word came to mean something more like earthy, and it was actually adopted in the early 1900s jazz communities to mean something strongly or deeply felt. And actually you can kind of see it in the facial expressions of kind of jazz and funk musicians. When a beat's hitting really hard, you kind of wrinkle your nose as if the melody or beat is so good that it smells of something, you know, kind of like, stank. Actually, that whole get down comes from the funk sessions. Musicians would literally tell each other to put some stank on it. The whole genre of funk has this kind of crude, dirty, stinky, stanky kind of mood, and Toe Jam and Earl kind of echoes some of this sentiment in the gameplay, where the world revolves around funk being the savior and a whole lot of dirty, crude humor along the way, which is my favorite part of the game.
Shake a bra, baby.
Some of the sound bites were so good. Random ninja style sound bites. When they take the mickey out of Earl for being so fat, this kind of random ninja style sound bite would come on, which kind of echoes like some of the more basic 90s stereotypes of the time. Listen to me, no more cheesy udo for you, Mr. Early Girly Man. You need to exercise and shape up. The theme of music even carries through to the cutscenes between each level, where you kind of have this gospel choir singing a little kind of aria, a few notes, and you'd even hear them kind of cut in when something like good happened on a level with little sound bites. So it's almost as if they were following you around in the background, adding some musical flair to the whole gameplay. Congratulations! And this was, you know, also in keeping with the whole genre of funk being influenced variously by blues, gospel, jazz, and doo-wop. A lot of call and response, a lot of melody and harmony. It's a really, really nice little tribute to those kind of musical ideas.
Here comes the phone.
Kind of going back to the funk genre in general and how it plays into the gameplay of the game, innuendo kind of became a bit of a mainstay of the funk genre. In the 1970s, when the genre kind of boomed, obviously it was being played on the radio. So this was before YouTube and Spotify and the general sharing of absolutely everything with everyone, being able to find clean and dirty versions. You just had the radio. So musicians kind of had to use innuendo to get round some of the naughtier lyrics that they might use in the song. And you can kind of see this naughty but nice vibe in the gameplay soundbites.
Hey, baby, check out my third leg.
Funk genre, obviously that started in earnest in the 1960s and 70s, so synth funk. And this is kind of where the lyrics started to change from suggestive innuendos to more graphic and straight up sexually explicit content. For example, Give It To Me Baby by Rick James and Super Freak by Rick James.
She's a very kinky girl.
No, I'm not doing it. And then obviously you've got the greats like Prince and Michael Jackson carrying on the hybrid funk genre in their own way. And then obviously just moving forward in the 1980s to 2000s, you had new funk. For example, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. What I got, you gotta give it to your mama. So in conclusion, the game Toe Jam and Earl, in all of its slap bass glories, does somewhat pay tribute to the funk genre and the whole style that went with it. The world really kind of speaks of an era of stank bass guitar licks and crude and juicy lyrics. All in all, a lot of fun, and despite the bad press, I give it a strong 6.85 out of 10. Just filming some flowers.
My mama says she thinks you're my daddy, and you owe us some money.
And I'm big, oh,